I mean, you guys see Bezos, he's jacked.
He looks great. I think that's just all weights.
Bezos, Dr. Rand.
So
Bezos, we know about him a little bit, but I'm not going to say names. Huge fan of the All In podcast. They opine on so many different topics regarding Silicon Valley, venture capital. The people in the All In podcast are Chamath, he's an early employee at Facebook, and he leveraged that to become a venture capitalist at Social Capital and eventually an owner of Golden State Warriors. And now he's predominantly kind of managing his own portfolio. There's an angel investor named Jason Kalinakis. He is interesting because he kind of has a blue collar attitude. Jason was one of the early investors into Uber. There's another individual named Dave Freeberg, kind of a biotech guy expert. And then there's a personal favorite, David Sachs, who was the co-founder of Yammer and used to be part of the PayPal mafia. When you come out for it, it is something else.
They're pretty interesting individuals, and they have like a unique perspective on the world because they're world beaters and they've done some pretty amazing things.
But sometimes they get into this situation, or they get into areas that are not their power alleys, right?
Did you just finish a good cry? Because you have this wetness right here on your eye.
Oh, sorry. I just got out of my cold plunge and my sauna because, I hit a new record low weight, 169 this week. Oh, hold on. I got to get my weights. And then I went in my infrared sauna. So now I've been going in. And
you do the cold, then the warm? I think you're supposed to do warm, then cold, no?
They say end on cold. And so I've been ending on cold.
Yeah.
Have you been tracking your blood pressure?
I have not. But I have this executive health coach that I'm using. That's where I got those ridiculous glasses, the blue lights, so my sleep's better. I'm taking some supplements.
Estrogen?
So,
are you taking estrogen, bro?
So, Dr. Ryan, would it ever make sense for a guy to take estrogen or progesterone, right?
I think in certain cases, progesterone might be helpful, but it's very, very rare. It can sometimes help with people that have extreme anxiety or sleeping disorders. I don't use it a lot, though, in guys. I use it a lot with females, and man, it helps with sleep tremendously.
No, it turns out, even at 52, my testosterone is very high. So that's
What
good.
is your free testosterone?
I don't have the number here, but they said it's the high end of normal.
I've had a couple of my friends in their early 60s start is it HGH?
Human growth. Yeah.
Is that right?
Not a good idea.
Seems like a really bad idea. That off-menu stuff, I don't think it's a good idea.
No, I think you can get a prescription for it.
Is that right? Yeah.
Yeah,
I know there's a lot of off-menu items available to affluent people with the right doctors, and I don't think it's a good idea.
I mean, you guys see Bezos, he's jacked.
He looks great. I think that's just all weights.
Bezos, Dr. Rand.
So
Bezos, we know about him a little bit. I'm not going to say names, but
I don't know if he's admitted to it, but
it's all natural.
Yeah, so I don't know. I mean, we have like this running joke when I was in bodybuilding competitions. There was this funny YouTube video where this bodybuilder who was dressed like a cow and advertising lunch meats was, purporting that he's all natural. Let's just pull that up for a second.
So my family's looking for beef that's all natural and hormone free.
That's me, all natural.
He's definitely not all natural. Definitely not all natural.
Because I don't want hormones in my kids.
That would be bad.
Yeah, hormones in your kids would be bad.
Are you taking growth hormones?
That's ridiculous.
Because there's a needle in your hunch.
100% he's taking growth hormones. 100%.
That's not mine.
So this lady obviously is skeptical that this man is all natural, right? He's very well built. What about Jeff Bezos? So Jeff Bezos is almost 60 years old. This guy doesn't look like a typical 60-year-old with a six-pack and nice deltoids and big arms and a big chest. He could be one of those 1% elite dudes that looks amazing in their old age, but usually most of these guys are collegiate athletes. I don't think Jeff was a collegiate athlete. In my very biased opinion, I think he's probably on TRT and maybe he's on growth hormone.
The thing is, it's funny is because they're trying to say it's taboo, right? And I used to think the same thing about that.
I mean, human growth hormone has been used for long periods of time in Hollywood and along with many wealthy individuals because of one thing. It works. You look younger, your skin looks better, it improves muscle mass, it decreases adipose tissue. We know these things because we treat children with it. For example, here's an article looking at the safety of growth hormone treatment in GH-deficient children and adults treated for cancer. There is a concern about growth hormone safety in individuals, and as we know, it's been used in many adults, wealthy adults for a long time, actors, etc. We know Stallone was using it, he was caught with it. Suzanne Summers has been pretty public about her use. Concern that people have is, well, am I going to get cancer if I get on growth hormone therapy? This was a great article that actually looked at individuals that had to be on growth hormone for long periods of time because their pituitary was removed, right? And they needed growth hormone supplementation. And if you listen to the naysayers about growth hormone, all these children and adults who are taking growth hormone long term should have tons of cancer. There really was like an increased risk of certain cancers in many of these studies. GH therapy probably not associated with tumor recurrence, no increased risk of medulloblastoma, glioma, or leukemia. These are cancers in the brain and the blood. No increased risk of cancer, brain tumor recurrence after radiotherapy and GH therapy. I am still of the opinion if you have active cancer, probably don't get on growth hormone. Or, if you've been treated, make sure it's completely in remission, 100%, and then be extremely careful with surveillance, I guess. Now, the issue, of course, is this. It is very hard to script growth hormone. And typically you have to look at IGF-1 levels and do a GH stimulation test, and it's regulated. Not so much, I think, because of the side effects of growth hormone, but more so because of its prolific use in professional athletic world. I mean, oh my goodness, if you want to talk about hormones that can help you heal faster and grow bigger muscles and run faster and hit a ball farther and catch a football and all these things.
Yeah, it helps you recover really fast. I mean, I hate to admit this, but like as a walk-on athlete in college, I was just trying to make it. I was really trying to make it. Back then, there was something called CJC 1295. If you remember on that was available. I think I was taking that ephedra. Man, I was on a lot of stuff just to try to make it, right? And thankfully, didn't fail any drug tests, but I was just a walk-on. And I took it and I didn't really make it to the top.
Here's the sad thing about it, JD. It's really hard to test, right? Because if you keep your IGF-1 levels, they can be in a huge range for people naturally. So you can never really tell if someone's on growth hormone unless you catch them with the vial, injecting it in their injecting it sub-Q. It is difficult to catch someone taking it, and it works. And a lot of other people that you're competing against are on it.
I wasn't the only one to be on it, but I think just wrapping it all up, I think the four of those guys are super smart and talented. They probably all need to be microdosing something if you look at them. And for Chamath, I actually met him a few times. The most recent one was years ago at a 49ers game, believe it or not, at a box. And he had his box, and our firm at the time had ours. And so I actually met him. We were talking. He's a super tall guy, incredibly skinny though, right? Back then, he was very, very lean. But we were kind of talking about this LinkedIn thesis. So Chamath, if you're watching this, you owe me. But anyway, so we're talking that through, and he's a very, very nice guy, very humble, super kind guy. And All In Podcast is great in terms of tech and VC and investing, but maybe not so much in terms of health and wellness, right?